Well, this is a rather nice little engine. This is a Mamod SR1 Steam Roller. Now, Mamod first produced these in about 1961, and they were put together with nuts and bolts, the very first ones, as were the traction engines. Now, this one is of riveted construction. The riveting, I think, came in about 1963. So we can actually date this one quite well, because there was another modification to the range, both traction engine and steam roller, in 1967, I think, and that was the addition of a reversing mechanism on the cylinder. Now, this one clearly doesn't have that, so that puts it earlier than 1967. So I think that this one would have been made sometime between 63 and 67. So we can pretty well age it to that period. It is actually in quite good condition for its age. It's got all the normal problems that are associated with these things. This cowling that goes over the firebox is chromed, and they always rust. And obviously some of the paint has come off the actual firebox, and that's got quite rusty. It's missing the scuttle, which clips on at the back, but that's the only part of it that's actually missing. Yeah, it's a very, very nice example. I'm extremely pleased to have this for a couple of reasons. First of all, this was a present from my brother-in-law. Thank you very much, Miles. Very much appreciated. And secondly, of the two model steam engines I had when I was a child, one was a very early 1946 Mamod stationary engine, and the second one I had was a brand new SR1 roller. Now, I think the one I had was actually later than this. I'm fairly certain the one I had a reverser lever on it. But yeah, so obviously this is, quite important to me. I'm going to do a full restore on it, strip it all down. These are actually quite easy to do because the aluminium wheels, they all clean up really, really well, and you can just take the paint off of the metal parts and repaint them. Although I probably won't need to. The boiler looks good, and so does the smoke box, fake smoke box at the front here. That all looks good. The biggest problem with these is the cowl, this bit that goes over the firebox. But fortunately, there are some nice people out there in eBay land that produce replacement cowls. This one is made of stainless steel, so this one is definitely not going to rust. And then you just pop this on, and it completely replaces the original. All the holes are in the right place. They even supply you with pop rivets. Isn't that amazing? So, and that was relatively cheap. That wasn't expensive at all. So that's what we're going to do with this one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to cleaning this one up and getting it running. I should be able to get a cowl, hopefully off of a scuttle, hopefully off of eBay for this. So it shouldn't prove too difficult. But yeah, it's a very, very nice example. So there you go, Mamod SR1 Roller. So, progress with the SR1 roller. Well, as you can see, it's been completely stripped down, and it was fairly easy to get apart. The rivets are drilled out quite easily. What have I done so far? All of the wheels, including the flywheel, have all been in the ultrasonic cleaner, just with some hot water and a little bit of detergent, because the insides of the wheels were quite furred up with corrosion, and there was a lot of dirt and crap in there, and they've come up really nicely just by being in the ultrasonic cleaner, so they're fine. What else? Obviously there's quite a lot of rusty parts. The axles, crankshaft, firebox are all badly rusted, and I think this is a good opportunity to try the ultrasonic cleaner with some vinegar, and we're gonna do that. That's going to be the next ultrasonic cleaner one. So what else? Yes, the fairy washing tablet plastic tub is not actually part of the SR1, obviously. However, in here, having its bath, if I can hook it out, we have the boiler, which, as you can see, is pretty disgusting. It's got totally crudded up with soot and all the rest of it, and that is currently being cleaned inside and out. So that's where we are at the moment, and the next stage will be to attempt to clean up the rusty parts using the ultrasonic cleaner and some vinegar. Okay, so where are we with the SR1 roller? Well, the boiler cleaned up really nicely. The vinegar bath removed about 98% of all of the baked on crud that was on there, and light brushing took care of the rest of it. It also took the paint off the front of the boiler, which I was going to repaint anyway, so that's not a problem. So the boiler is now ready for masking. It will need etch priming because it's only this front part from this line upwards, which is green. That needs to be etch primed and then painted with the appropriate green colour, and then the boiler will be pretty much done. The firebox cleaned up really well. That was the vinegar in the ultrasonic cleaner mainly, and then afterwards finished off with a wire brush. All the rest of the metal parts here have all been wire brushed up after their little turn in the ultrasonic cleaner. They've all come up absolutely fine, as has the front forks and the burner. So what's left? Well, I've still got to take the paint off of the rear wheels and the flywheel because they are all going to be repainted, and I've got to make a decision about what I do with the smoke box, and I'm probably going to strip the paint off of that and repaint that too. So yeah, we're getting along with it. There's still quite a lot to do before it can go back together, but so far, yeah, I'm pleased with the progress with it so far. Well, everything apart from the wheels has been etch primed. That was all done about 2 days ago, so it's now ready for its top coat. And the firebox has been painted with the XHT high temperature paint, which should be fine for this particular use here. So all I've got to do now is basically get the top coat on the bits that have already been etch primed, mask off the wheels so I can etch prime the centre parts which need to be painted, and then paint those. And then in a few days time, hopefully, it will be ready to be reassembled. Well, here's the finished Mamod SR1 Steam Roller, and I'm quite pleased with how it came out actually. Just for once the paint decided to behave itself, and the wheels cleaned up really nicely. So did all the brass parts. I haven't run it yet. It's literally, I've only really just finished this, but I don't suspect there'll be any problems running it. I got some reproduction hubcaps for the rear that are okay, but the front ones I couldn't get the right ones, so I've had to settle for this type, which is not technically correct, but they look fine. Yeah, they do the job, which is the important thing. So yeah, it's come out all right. So I think the next stage is just try and steam it. We'll try and run it on the bench to start with before we attempt to see whether it'll actually move itself along. But no, it's come out all right. Well, I think we got enough pressure. Yes, look at that. Typical Mamod, runs like wildfire. But it runs, that's what matters. Look at that, runs like a trooper too. And we got steam coming out of the chimney. That's what I like. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? I'm well pleased about that. As I said, this has got a special place for me because this was my brother-in-law, a present from my brother-in-law. And it's come out really well and it runs superbly. Try the whistle. Ouch, that is hot. Well, a lot of water, but a little bit of whistle too. Oh dear. Escaping fly. So there's a little tip for all you budding model steam engine restorers. Just because you think you've tightened the flywheel, make sure, double check. After it made its escape for freedom, I did actually manage to track it down, fortunately, and I now have tightened it up. So hopefully we won't have any more of that. Anyway, there you go. The Mamod SR1 roller, probably from the 1960s, mid-1960s. Turned out very nice indeed. Now it's making its own bid for freedom on the turntable. Yeah, we're probably running out of meths. It's been running for quite a bit of time. Yeah, that's what I think it probably is. Anyway, there you go. That's the Mamod SR1 roller. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. Oh, it's got a little bit left in it, look.